everyone, this is Chris Kies for Premier Guitar. I am in East Nashville at Steel Mill Rehearsal with KG Elephant. And first off, we got Nick. Nick, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Thank you for doing this. This has been a long time coming. I think we did another one with your Tech Jordan, I think 10 or 11 years ago. But I'm glad to have you involved and the band. And we're going to go through your gear. But first off, congrats on Neon Pill. That just came out not that long ago. What was that experience like, getting to work with John Hill again?
It was great. John is really amazing. He has great taste, and he's a good shepherd of the six of us.
Okay.
And steers us in the right direction of being ourselves. And it was great. There was a lot of emotion and stuff that went into it, and at the end, it felt really great to have a brand new album and be back and
probably cathartic in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And were there anything that were gear-wise, since we're here to talk gear, was there anything new in the rig that kind of inspired new sounds, or anything on the album that was a star player, or anything that John brought to the table unique versus with Social Cues when he worked with you guys the first time?
Similar palette, kind of. I did get a couple new guitars. I don't have it here with me, but I got a 55 Esquire.
Wow.
And it's like serial number like 9,000 something.
Nice.
And so I definitely used that as often as I could.
Yeah.
And there was another very special guitar that was down at Sonic Ranch. It was like a 60-something Les Paul Jr.
Okay.
Kind of the SG looking guy.
Yeah.
And when we were finishing the record, I like couldn't put that thing down. And even Brad used it on a couple of things too. We were like passing it back and forth. But similar palette, used the steel on a few songs, and Mellotron, and I kind of have my recording board has sort of similar stuff.
Okay.
A lot of like tape echoes, space echoes, and echoplexes.
Getting weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Maestro fuzz. I have an old Maestro fuzz.
Yeah, I bet you. Do you have a little road case for that specifically, or anything to keep it safe?
It stays at home or in a studio.
I don't blame you with that.
I have a good one.
What about amps? Now, this is kind of strictly the Supro, the double Supro here. We'll get to in a minute. Is that kind of a stage thing, or do you use them in the studio?
I use these on stage, but I also do use them in the studio. I have a little Tremo Verb actually that I've had for like a decade now, and I love that thing.
Okay.
And then we also used like I like the like Fender Vibroluxes, like 70s ones.
Yeah.
And we used like a twin, like Electric Lady had like a twin reverb that I used. And I have a little Gibson Skylark amp too, one of these little tiny amps from the 60s.
Yeah.
And that thing is really cool. So yeah, combo of Vibrolux and Supro.
Now, before we actually get into your rig that we're here to talk about, I keep asking questions with the album, but where else did you record at? You mentioned Sonic Ranch already, and then Electric Lady amp. Where else?
We did a couple spots, yeah. And then we also did Sound Emporium here in Nashville. And that was really fun. And yeah, Electric Lady and Sonic Ranch. And then we also did Battle Tapes, which is our buddy's studio here in East Nashville.
Okay.
And that's at his house. It's really rad. He has a Spectra console in his house, and then it's wired in the back, and then there's a studio in a separate building.
Okay.
So that's kind of where everything starts, too, for us.
Okay.
At
like
Battle
a pre-pro.
Tapes. Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of that stuff, like, there's multiple tracks where the stuff I did on, like, the demo just, like, stayed in to the end.
Yeah.
So that's... I'm kind of like, if it sounds cool and it's and everyone else is down with it, we don't need to like rethink it all the time.
Yeah, there's a variety of environments that I'm sure pulls out different types of vibes with you guys creatively. You know, being in someone's backyard and then you're in Electric Ladyland in New York City.
Yeah.
I'm sure those different spots pull out different energy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, speaking of energy, I'm wasting it and your time. Let's dive right into the
Let's
guitar
dive
here,
in.
man. What's this red speckle here? Speckle or sparkle?
So this is it's made by Harper Guitars, and the builder is a brilliant man named Jacob Harper. And I feel like I've had this probably 9 years now, maybe 10 years.
Yeah, I've seen you quite a few shows with it.
Yeah, and this is sort of like my main guy, and it's just it's the Marilyn model which he sells.
Okay.
And he was like, I want to build you a guitar. What could you dream up? And I was like, gold hardware would be really cool, and sparkle red. And then it's got my name in there, and it's got this little like monster guy I draw up here. And then before we the Bigsby, especially for Cage's music, is like very present in it. So, I mean, I can do anything with this. And the coolest part is he kept sending me updates as he was building it, of like when he cut the body out and when he was putting the finish on. And he called me one night. He's like, "What do you think about a kill switch from a pinball machine?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" So
I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, so this thing, it's awesome.
Now, did you have a need for a kill switch before that, or now that you have it, you find places to use it?
I didn't think I needed it, but when he sent me that text, I was like, yes. And it's really cool. I mean, honestly, on a practical level, sometimes if I'm like have a super high gain thing and I'm out front, I can just cut my signal.
Yeah.
And it's good, and it's kind of inconspicuous. But it's also great for like before a chorus, doing a quick, like what I just did, kind of like a spaz out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. So that's a fun feature of this guitar.
Now were the knobs specifically all different, or is that something just road life?
This is road life,
Okay.
and it's almost we just keep it moving with everything. So yeah, I think this probably like fell off, and maybe in Poland we had one of these, and maybe in Idaho we had a white one. And no, it originally started. Jacob's design was all four of the same, but it's almost funny. We just, it's keep it moving.
I love it. Now, when it came to working with Jacob, was it something he reached out to you, or was it something you saw his work and you're like, I'm into this?
I met a friend of his at a show in Louisville, and he was like, started showing me his buddy's guitars that he was making, and he was like, I got to link you up. And so pretty soon after that, I think we met here in Nashville and dreamed this up. And I also have another guitar by him, which is like a solid body, and I believe that model is called the Curve, and it's almost like sort of like a Les Paul style solid body. But this is I've played definitely the most Cage shows with this, and this is on records too, and this is I can kind of play the whole show with this.
What TV Jones pickups are in there? Do you know what he put in there for you?
I'm not let's see, I'm not sure the exact model.
Okay, obviously some sort of Filtertron.
Yeah, and I'm like addicted to them. It's kind of these are really like my favorite pickups, and I love how responsive they are. If it's like I can get gain out of just literally playing harder. And you can play super delicate, and they cut off any like harshness too. I find. And
now, would you say this kind of replaced live wise those? I know you for years you had white Gretches.
Yeah.
So this kind of took the spot of those?
I had I had like an Electromatic, and I still do. It's a really great guitar. But yeah, this one, I kind of got to design it myself, and it's really this guitar is like home base for me, honestly. With Cage, it's kind of I play lots of guitars, but there's always something about this one when I come back to her, I'm like,
especially when the team assembles and it's like it does something that works so well with the band. Yeah.
So he really knocked it out of the park with this. It's great.
Well, Killer, before we move on to any other instruments, let's hit strings. What strings do you use?
I use 11s on here.
Okay.
And I find they stay in tune, and with Cage, I'm pretty aggressively picking, you know, and a lot of it is really accented stuff, so it's just literally just hitting the guitar harder sometimes, and it stays in tune. I'm constantly using the Bigsby, so they stay in tune, and I like to feel like a bit of fight when I'm playing it. So yeah, 11s are good for me.
And are you loyal to any brand, or just anything you can get your hands on?
Ernie Balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ernie Ball 11s.
Yeah.
And are there any tunings out of standard that you guys use from song to song?
No.
Okay. No. Standard, love it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think there used to be a take it or leave it. It had like a drop D, but yeah, just standard always.
Yeah. Well, I think we gotta keep cruising. Let's
keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to another guitar.
Yeah.
All right. This is awesome. Tell me all about it.
So this I got here in town at Carter Vintage, and I think I tried to do one of those Google searches on the serial number, but I think it's like a 2000s or 90s body.
It's already wearing pretty well. The checking's already coming through.
And someone put gold foil pickups in it and a P90, and it's really cool.
It's giving me that old black vibe, like at least the bridge pickup being, kind of Neil Young.
So this is a really rad guitar too, and again, I could, because it has the Bigsby, and I could do a whole show with this. So I love this guitar, and I played this as well on records and around town a lot. And this is kind of a funny story. I feel bad. Sorry, John Hill. John Hill actually sent me a Carter link. He was like, "Man, check out this Les Paul. It looks pretty badass." And then I was like, "Cool, I'll FaceTime you when I get there." There's been a couple of times where I've checked out guitars for him. Yeah. And so I went and checked it out, and it wasn't pricey. And he's like, I FaceTimed him, and he's like, "How's it sound, buddy?" And I was like I'm going to buy it in 5 minutes. I'm sorry, but you can use it anytime you want.
It sounds like it's mine.
So again, I'm sorry, John. But he's since got like a really sick 70s one, so it's all good.
It's all water in the fridge.
but this is like a great road warrior.
Now, between the P90 and the gold foil, which one do you ride more?
I feel like I'd go with the P90 a lot. Okay. But the gold foil is really rad, and I bring this to like sessions around town a lot. I can get a lot of
let's hear the middle and then the neck too.
Yeah, so this would be like, what happened here? Okay. This is the middle. And here's like full gold foil. Pretty great, and then pretty different. So you can get a lot out of it. It's really versatile.
It's really expressive, just on the way you're attacking it.
Yeah, so I really love this guitar, and
are there certain songs or material blocks that get this come out for?
Kind of. It's almost in the set. There's like Bigsby songs, and then songs that I don't need a Bigsby. And honestly, there's a lot of songs that kind of require the Bigsby. So I play this or the Harper like a whole lot. Okay. And so, again, this is another one I'm constantly playing on stage. Okay. And, I really love this. And Les Paul's classic, As a kid, I always wanted one.
It's one of those most memorable shapes, Yeah. People that don't play guitar, barely into music, or a fan of go to a couple concerts, they know what a Les Paul is.
Oh, yeah, you go to the airport. What you got in there, Les Paul? Yeah. What's that, a strap? In a band? Yeah, my brother's got a Les Paul.
The unsolicited stories, they never end.
I think it's a blue one. You play acoustic, too?
Yeah. That unplugged stuff. Well, let's keep cruising. I see SG over here. I bet you get, I don't want to say harassed, but I bet you get bothered, we'll say.
Y'all in a band?
Yeah.
This is, I love this guitar.
No Bigsby, but a vibrato.
No Bigsby. Okay, so.
But does it work?
It does. This has this I got here. I used to live in Donaldson here in Nashville, and I bought this at a store called Blues Vintage Guitar. Okay. And the owner, Gabe, is really cool. I was moving. I was like trying to kind of trade some stuff, and he let me trade in a few things towards this. And I've looked up the serial number. For whatever reason, this year is a 7071. And but I've also seen these on like Reverb, and they all seem to be 69. Huh. So I can't tell exactly what year it is, but it's somewhere in there. But it was definitely like a love at first sight thing. Like I walked upstairs the store, I was like, what's that one? Yeah. And this is an incredible guitar. I also play this on stage. But this one has to like ride on the bus with me. Yeah. This one I won't like ship in a truck or something.
I can feel that.
But this is definitely on records. And it's incredible. It's just an incredible guitar. My one qualm with these guitars is these Maestros, they come undone
Oh, I bet.
if you use it at all. So like, I'll bring this to sessions, and I literally bring like a little screwdriver, and I'll have it like next to me, and it's like between the, and like I did a tour. I broke my knee, so I did the night running tour we did. I was sitting the whole time, so I literally had a screwdriver up with me. So I would like, you know, tune it up, but it has an amazing. And this, like I played on Rainbow. Blowing our ears out up here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
This is just like a really special guitar. I played this on a lot of records. And this is
It looks like a warhorse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love her, but yeah, she started to get dinged up a little bit on the road, so I've become a little more precious. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, anything where we're like leaving on the bus and I can hold it with me, I'll bring her.
The bus guitar.
Yeah.
Perfect.
More
Now,
protective.
before we hit the last one here, what was it like touring with a broken leg or broken knee? What's that
It
like?
was pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I jumped off the stage in Sweden, and I thought I could land it. And
Did you jump or did you fall like Steven Tyler? Was it a fall or a jump?
Sort of a jump.
Okay, okay, so it was intended.
Yeah.
It was intended.
And yeah, I ended up. It was bizarre actually, like sitting for a Cage the Elephant show.
I bet.
And but it was fun. I was grateful that I could do the show, and it wasn't my hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of funny. I was like sitting, and then the second half of the tour, I was able to start standing a bit. So I'd like move a little bit more every night on stage, and we'd
Part of your PT.
yeah. And so we'd go out. Me and Matt, we would do the song "Night Running" with Beck and his band. We'd kind of like close out the whole show with that. And so I'd go up, and me and Jason Faulkner, his guitarist, like would get a little closer to each other every night and do like a back-to-back. And that it was like every night I could move a little bit more, feel a little safer with my boot and everything. But yeah, it was trippy.
Yeah. I bet you it's a surreal experience because of, like you said, you guys are very active on stage.
Very active, yeah. So at times I felt like I was kind of watching the show, you know. It was like,
You're playing along.
yeah, or there'd be times where there'd be like haze shooting out, and I'm just like hiding behind a cloud. Yeah, Spinal Tappy at points.
You're
but-
like Eeyore just sitting back here. Why bother?
Bye, Bob. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't play steel.
Yeah.
I was just so I like kind of refigured that out on this, but yeah.
Well, glad to see you full strength.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see this telly.
Yes. So this guy, this is a very cool guitar. This was built by my friend Russ Paul, he's a legendary guitar player and pedal steel player.
Yeah.
And I met him here when I moved to town, and I did some playing in Dan Auerbach's band when he had his solo record, and me and Russ were both playing electrics, and we do lots of stuff together. But he builds, guitars sometimes in his garage for his buddies, and he hit me up. He's like, "I think I have a telly that you're gonna love," and he brought this over my house.
An awesome phone call.
Yeah, totally. And he just finds necks, and this one's kind of cool too because it's got a really thick neck, you can see.
Okay, yeah.
And he has a Firebird pickup that he put into here.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little bit different version of a telly. Badass. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cuts.
Yeah.
So this is I love this guitar. It can get like a lot of range of sounds, and sometimes I play this on the couch a lot at home. So sometimes I'll bring this to sessions too, just because I get used. It's like a fat neck, and sometimes I just get like totally used to it. So
yeah, like a glove.
Yeah. So I play this guitar a whole lot, and it's a tough guy too. You can bring her on the road and love it.
No regrets to what happens to it. No regrets.
So, and it's cool up here. He's got his Russ Paul Jr. logo up here, And yeah, this is really a treasure to me to have this from him.
Dig it. So we mentioned that you're using Supros, but what actual models are you using here?
So these are the Royales.
Okay.
And I believe they're 2x12s. And they're really nice. They like they're not harsh. They're still ripping and they break up really awesome, but I feel like they cut off some like high end stuff, but they still cut, which is important in the band. You know, I've kind of learned like with these type of shows in this band, like I may play differently than I would in a small club or in a session. Like you want to like be heard, but these do that. They have a nice boost, and but I can get a really clean, nice sound, and then or I can also. But they break up like pretty badass, and then like you add like a little. So it's super responsive, and it's also good for like I'm running Kies through them. I'm running the lap steel. I'm running the pedal steel, so they have nice headroom, and yeah, I just really, like I said, I had a Tremo Verb it's this little blue amp that I've had. That's kind of like my main amp if I'm like going to a session around town or playing. It's a perfect little size, and so to transfer to a bigger show, these are perfect. They're like they're loud, but they're not like it's not like a metal type gain. It's like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. And they have cool features too. There's like effects loops. There's
they're versatile little combos.
Yeah. But yeah, really I like the sound of the gain on them, and I like the headroom.
Cool. Yeah. And I know we got to cruise to the pedalboard and get the other guys' gear involved, but do you want to touch on right to my right? You have a Gibson lap steel. What is this? This is a very special lap steel too. This is this was I bought from. If you don't mind. Yeah. This. Oh wow, she's light. This is a really special guitar. This Bucky Baxter sold this to me. Who was my good friend's is their dad, and he was my buddy as well and a mentor when I first moved to town. And I think it's like from like the 30s or 40s, and he played this thing with Bob Dylan and Steve Earle, and this is like a really special guitar. And there's something about the pickup that he said is special. It's like a Charlie Christian pickup or something in there. But I remember when he sold it to me, he was like, "This is the only lap steel I would go out and play rock and roll with, like you're doing." So really, he's like, "This one's for you." So this is a very special guitar to me. Yeah, that's a cool honor. And anytime there's like lap steel on the records, like this is it. It's got a really like fat output, and it's just a beautiful guitar. So this is a very special one. That's awesome, man. And I always get to kind of. Does it go on the bus too then? Yeah, this is sort of a rest in peace. This has sort of become a bus one too for me. But it's compact. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have in the bay, there's like a very tight, nice spot for it. Perfect. Where it's very safe. But yeah, this is a badass guitar, and keeps me connected to the Buckman. That's awesome. Yeah.
What strings are you running?
These are D'Addario NYXLs.
And the D'Addario NYXL.
But they're D'Addario strings, and I've been using those since forever, and I love them.
D'Addario strings as well.
D'Addarios.
Right.
D'Addario. I've been using D'Addario.
I'm a fan of D'Addario.
Started using these D'Addarios. I like the D'Addario NYXLs.
These are D'Addario, and I got the NYXLs on here.
And then over on your left side is the pedal steel. Yes, so... Tell me all about that quickly. So this is a GFI, and due to Bucky's advice, I remember I was like looking at steels, and I was checking out like show buds and all this stuff, and I'd be like, "What do you think of this one?" He'd be like, "Too heavy," you know, and I'd be like, And then he's like, "Just get a GFI," you know. He's like, "You're not going to want to learn how to like tech the thing. Like you're going to want to like learn how to be in tune for the first couple of years." Right. I was like, "Huh, that's good advice." So I got this GFI, and I got to say, it's heavy enough. It's perfect. You know?
Though I do love show buds and everything, but this is a great. It's the Ultra.
Okay.
And it's pretty badass steel. It sounds great, and it's kind of amazing. Sometimes it'll go in a truck across the country, and I'll go and like play it. It's like in tune still, and so I feel like these are just like a really, really solid touring steel, and I don't have to like super fine tune it all the time.
Don't have to babysit it.
I don't have to get under the hood every day. But it's a great guitar, and it's been really cool within our music to use. It's kind of like another thing Bucky used to say to me is like, it's just a guitar. So when I got one, I instantly started like running it through effects and running it through like anything that I would on a guitar. It's just a little different. I can do like different moves on it, and so I really enjoy playing it on the albums. It's like a fun additional sound, and it's cool playing in the show too. I feel like you don't usually see that in like rock and roll bands.
Yeah, no.
I feel like, or sort of alternative bands or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hopefully like every show there's like a kid in the crowd like, what is that thing? And then, like a young me or something, you know. And
Carrying on the tradition.
Yeah, and I'm a real steel nerd. Like I have a deep respect for all the amazing country steel players and stuff. But
you mentioned Russ. Have you met Paul Franklin? Have you been?
Yeah,
he's great.
You know, I actually got really lucky. My first time ever in Nashville, my old band, we parked down and was at 12th and Porter. We were supposed to play that night.
Okay.
And we parked down there, and it was like this big parking lot at the time. Now it's like high rises and stuff, and the Station Inn is over there. And we went in on a Monday night, and it was the Time Jumpers, and it was just
great.
So the first time, I mean, I was like 21 then, so the first live pedal steel player I ever saw was Paul on a Monday night. So I got pretty lucky, and it was like, oh, that's the guy from the YouTube videos that we see.
That's one of the cool reasons about living in Nashville is like you can just run into people like that.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So there's just like some mind-blowing players right here in town, like 80% of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really cool thing to add to our music, and it's always you know, sometimes, you know, when we're recording, I'll have a guitar part, and sometimes I'll be like, what about some steel too? And it's like a nice complementary, especially on the records. It's just, you can do different stuff with it.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. It's been a great obsession of mine, and I set it up during the days on tour, and I just like play along with records.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah. So this has been a fun pursuit.
Well, right on. Maybe we could get either your red sparkle or the telly back, and we quickly go through the pedal board.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm using the gig rig, and it looks like there's a lot of pedals here, but it's pretty simple.
It's organized.
And we sort of like use it just like a patch bay. It isolates each of the pedals, so it's not going through the whole massive chain. And,
got it.
Again, in the spirit of keeping it moving, like sometimes in a show you don't have a time to like figure out what's going on, so I can just skip and try another gain or something.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple combination patches on it.
All right.
But basically, the start of it is down here. This is a pedal. It's called the Growly, and it was made by this company called Pedal Projects. This guy in Iceland that he no longer makes pedals.
Retired.
And it stinks because I'm addicted to it. It's kind of, I guess, sort of like a rat, but it's got a compressor in it, and so I keep there's a drive and a boost, but I have the boost literally always on. Like this is without it, and this is with it. It does a thing, and it makes it's like a compressor, you know. It's like it makes other things speak a little better.
I love that you have the logo on the switcher as well.
Yeah.
To really make sure driving home that you know what you're hitting.
Yes. Yeah, so that's always the front of the chain, the Growly, and like I said, he let me know when he wasn't really making pedals anymore, so I bought a couple.
Okay.
So I have backups too, but and then I have another pedal that I kind of always have on. Is this Echo Dream by Death by Audio. It's really rad.
Love those guys.
Yeah, me too. And it's got it's really cool. I kind of use it like a mixer. Like I'm constantly taking down it's got master, fuzz, and delay.
Okay.
And so I'm constantly adjusting these. And like sometimes if we're really loud in the show, I'll boost the growly. And so I'm not using like a ton of overdrive. I'm just using these to push each other. But this thing is so badass. Like I like the fuzz tone. Sometimes I'll even take the delay off, and it's just like a great. And then you can have it back in. And then it also, you can do like weird warble stuff.
Yeah, the modulator.
So it's really, really cool. And that's an often always on pedal.
Okay.
And then I also have, for reverb, I'm using the Spring Chicken by Maleko.
I love that name.
Yeah, I love this thing. It's kind of like a. It's got a really pretty dwell, and you can do it more subtle.
Now the Royale has reverb, right? Reverb
It does
and
have
tremolo?
reverb too, yeah.
So are you using the amp at all, or just coming from the Spring?
I'm pretty much using the Spring Chicken, yeah. But if there is a ghost in the machine that night or something, like, yeah, I can go back there and use it.
Safety
But
net.
then sometimes it is nice, like I'll just be like completely dry for some songs. So it is nice just to be able to like cut that for me. Then I guess we can go through all of them.
yeah.
I have an Analog Man compressor that sometimes I can really do like a jump out, if there's like a solo or something.
Okay.
Say like Shake Me Down, like. It's like subtle, but it's definitely louder, and so I just use that as sort of like a clean boost sometimes.
Yeah.
And what else do we got going here?
You have the Mel 9 I see down here. How do you
The
use
Mel
that?
9, I
'Cause
love
you got
this.
a Mel up here.
Yeah, so I have a Mellotron, which we should check that out too. But I have the Mel 9 pedal. I usually have it on the flute patch.
Okay.
And,
Because why not?
Because why not? I like that one. And a lot of the Social Cues record I use that pedal. I totally love it. When I play steel, I use it through the Mel 9 patch. Yeah, on the song Social Cues, it's like pedal steel through the Mellotron patch. But this thing is just really. It's pretty cool. So that's an amazing pedal, and I use that a lot. Yeah, it sustains. So I have it again. It's like pretty exaggerated effects, so that when you're in like a PA in a field, you can hear the Mellotron thing. So I'm not too subtle with it. And then what else do we got
What's
here?
the little white nondescript box there? One knobber.
The little one knobber is called the Betty White. And
I love that.
Yeah.
R.I.P. That's one of Perry's little chickens.
Betty White.
Yeah.
So this is an amazing pedal. This is built by my buddy Grant, who has a pedal company, Big Ears.
Yeah.
NYC. And me and Grant go like way back. We go back to like our like early 20s.
Okay.
I subbed in his band, and we've played music through the years, and I just love him. And this he gave to me right before we did Tell Me I'm Pretty, and so I used that fuzz on like Trouble and Punching Bag and Mess Around, and that was my fuzz for that record.
Okay.
And it totally rips, and I love that it's just one knob. So it's sort of. It's like I'm here.
Yeah. I'm not sitting down. My knees back to good health. I'm standing up.
And so I absolutely love that. So that's sort of like a main solo pedal. And then I have another fuzz built by Moleco called the Diabolic. And my buddy Tiger from Morning Teleportation turned me on to this. And this is different because it has a squish feature, so it like can totally like gate it.
Oh.
So this is nice because I can like... So it has that like zip cut off right off. Whereas
now, is that what you were using before with Rainbow when you kind of demonstrated that a bit? Okay.
Yeah, so that one, it has a tight cut off. Whereas the Betty White,
it's a little different,
wide open. So I kind of have both flavors, and then what else? Standard Boss tremolo.
Gotta have a Boss pedal.
Boss tuner. It's the most important pedal.
Yeah. So if you're not in tune, what are you doing?
There's no point. And then I have this Mogerfugger cluster flux. This thing is really cool. I got this right before the Tell Me I'm Pretty record too.
That eats some real estate.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but it's really, I use it a lot. Like I use it on the song Cry Baby, and then House of Glass I use it. It's really rad. You can kind of use it as a gain fuzz too. Like
So that LFO really does something different.
Yeah, so this thing's incredible. And honestly, it's fun, like, at the end of shows, I kind of will make crazy feedback with it, like... Guitar. Yeah, so it's...
Dark Side of the Moon right there.
Yeah, so this thing's really a powerful tool, and I love it. There's a chorus and a flange, and
you got two DD6s or 5s or one of the versions of the DDs.
Yeah, so I have two DDs, and they both are just at different settings, which you know, and as the show's going, it is good to have just two, rather than going down and bending or whatever. So one is just like a fast slapping. Oh, whoa. And then this one's like a real, and the second one is coming out stereo, so you can hear it's going back and forth between the So it has a nice long delay, and then I also have
see this gray one. Is
this
that's
Earthquaker? And this one I'll mess with sort of. I can get weird warbly. So they really are all different. This is sort of like, it reminds me sort of like a Memory Man, but it's got its own thing. So yeah, that's the Disaster Transport.
You should check out, they just came out, the two companies right here next to each other, Death by Audio and Earthquaker came out with a new pedal called Time Shadows.
Oh, dang.
And it's like a double delay. One side's kind of like DBA and the other side's Earthquaker.
Sick.
Yeah, check that out.
Wow. Yeah.
But to quickly wrap it up, you got a whammy and then you got the Moleco vibrato.
Yeah, so the whammy I use a lot. And the Moleco vibrato is really cool. It's a really exaggerated kind of. So this is this is the mess around sound, and it's really annoying hearing it also isolated. I'll admit, but this is one of the few with the gig rig that I have a patch where it's a loop too, so it engages the Disaster Transport, the vibrato, and the whammy, so I don't have to go boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But So it's like horrifying, you know, but in the mix of the sound. I think literally the stem for that, like in the session, is terror.
Oh, I bet. I could see that.
But yeah, that's what I used for that sound. And I use the whammy too, just for like pitch up stuff.
Yeah.
Like the song Tokyo Smoke, I use it kind of like. So it's cool. Yeah, and then there's the Lele switcher, which I can go between
all the instruments,
the guitar, the steel, or the mellotron.
Cool.
And
then to give credit to Bailey, your tech, he gave you a solution. So people see you rocking out on the stage, either at Bonnaroo this weekend or the tour that's coming up. You are doing the switching. This is not some mastery Wizard of Oz situation. He built you another like copy of the switcher down there.
Yes, so there's another gig rig
so when you
down
leave your
there
nest,
in the front.
yeah, you're able to switch.
Which is nice. I'm not like stuck being up here, so I can go and interact.
You did that once already with the knee thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Nick, we're gonna get to the other guys' gear. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was
congrats
awesome.
On the Neon Pill record. It's awesome.
Thank you, man.
Killer. Cool. We are joined now by Mason, who is part of the family. Literally, you're part of the, Matt and Brad.
True.
Yeah. So got hired up a couple months ago. Tell me about what we got here for
yeah, man.
setup.
So Bradley mostly right now is playing the Silvertone.
Okay.
1449. Cool. Little solid body. Got like the
lipsticks.
Yeah, lipsticks on it. Yeah, he prefers the tone on it. It sounds great. It's like pretty bitey. A lot of high end. Keeps it on the bridge pickup.
The thing I noticed too is, for a long time he's been using Mustangs. I don't see any Mustangs anymore.
Yeah, we don't have any Mustangs on this tour.
Really?
I haven't had any.
So the Silvertone is the kind of, would you say it does the heavy lifting or will do the heavy lifting on the tour?
Definitely. Yeah, it's honestly like a couple rehearsals ago he was like, this is the main one for the tour. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're bringing the Baronic as well.
Okay.
But yeah, this is kind of the main guy.
What about strings? Should we know for the Silvertone?
Yeah, we got the Power Slinkies.
Okay.
The Ernie Balls 11s.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good.
Now I feel like probably rehearsals. I don't even know. Have they played a couple shows?
Yeah, we did some stuff in LA.
Okay, so you've been able to like understand what it's going to mean to take after Brad's gear, because I've seen him in the crowd so many times.
A lot of looking.
Yeah,
for
a lot
sure.
of looking. I'm glad he's on wireless, because when I remember I think it was 2014 Lollapalooza. He was still doing the cable, so the tech was feeding it through the crowd.
Yeah. Happy to be on wireless.
Yeah,
sure.
no, good for that.
Yeah.
But good luck on keeping his guitars together.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's been going good so far. Yeah. He's only thrown 2 guitars at me so far.
Well, I feel like he's gonna, bust something, because not tomorrow, but this weekend's Bonnaroo,
Yeah,
so
indeed,
it might be Smash City.
Yeah, we got a backup for this one. So
Okay, well, let's see this bare neck real quick.
Yeah, man.
Because these are cool guitars. We've seen these a couple times on the rig rundowns.
Yeah, this thing is awesome. So it's got like the gold foil sliding pickup.
That's so rad.
Usually it stays down all the way, but sometimes gets like a little finger space.
Yeah.
Got some locking tuners on it.
Okay.
It's fun. These like circle tuning pegs. Yeah, and then this crazy input down here. And then it's just like tone and volume. And
What's the little white guy do? Oh.
Yeah, I think both of these are just little boosts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's an awesome guitar. This thing is really cool.
People say sometimes, guitar design has gotten stale, just Strat copies, Les Pauls. This is not one of those.
Yeah, no, not at all. For sure. Definitely like a very unique, cool looking guitar.
Yeah.
Kind of gives me Batman vibes sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's awesome. It's really fun.
Now, do you know if this is just a backup or will it get used by Brad?
It was his main for a while, yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think that it will probably show back up on tour at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, he used it in the studio a lot.
Yeah,
he
that
really
with the
dials
slider.
it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just takes a lot of dialing sometimes to get it fully like exactly where you want it for a sound. So I think the Silvertones are just a little bit more reliable, like in terms of the setup that he's built.
Yeah.
So like he built the setup around the Silvertones and then added this in, I think, for this tour.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's a fun guitar, man. I'm sure.
Awesome.
I just hope it stays in one piece.
Yeah, I think this one definitely will, for sure.
And last but not least, we have an acoustic here.
Yeah, man, got the Gibson.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, this thing is awesome as well. Great acoustic guitar. Plays
Can't go
it.
wrong with the J45.
Yeah, true. So true.
Yeah.
Classic for a reason.
Yeah.
But But yeah, this thing is awesome. He plays it, mostly plays the electric, plays this for probably about 5 or 6 songs during the set.
Any off the top of your head that you can think of?
Yeah, like Ain't No Rest for the Wicked.
Okay.
Trouble, Neon Pill, the title track of the new album. Yeah.
Well, right on. Maybe real quick, what strings does he use on this?
He uses 11s as well.
Okay. And I assume Ernie balls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
Cool. Well, we'll stay put, but talk to me about what he's plugging into in terms of amps, because we have nothing on stage. We have no cabs. Nick, on the other hand, had the 2 amps.
Yeah.
Brad does not.
0 amps over here. Yeah.
Not even a speaker to be found.
True.
So tell me about it.
Yeah, so he's got a rack that I'm in front of over there.
Okay.
And it has 2 Thermonic Culture, has a preamp, the Phoenix, and then Phoenix the compressor, and then preamp the Rooster.
Love those names.
And yeah, indeed. And yeah, they're great. He runs straight into those through some DIs, straight out this pedal board, to try to get that like kind of DI studio sound.
Yeah.
A lot of his like distortion and fuzz comes from kind of like console-esque fuzz.
Yeah. So that kind of recreates that.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Man, it's insane because like I was saying off camera to the other tech Bailey, we'll talk to in a minute, is that doing this now for 15, 16 years, it's something I've never seen. And I know it's possible because, you know, people talk about doing that stuff. The Beatles did it and everyone else after that about going right into the console. But man, to see that in a live environment is a trip.
Indeed,
and I'm sure we're showing you B-roll right now over my hands. But it's something I've never seen. But it's cool that they took that effort to bring the record to the stage.
Yeah,
because it's definitely a sound that they've created, like you said, with the silver tone.
Yeah, Brad has a very unique sound, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, walk me through the pedal board here.
Yeah, man.
What we got here?
Got some JHS. Got the color box, 2 of them, and then the crayon.
Now, how is the color boxes getting used in terms of routing? Is it because like these are kind of like, I don't want to say Neve copies, but they're kind of like the console thing too.
Yeah, are
they more of like a volume drive or like what? How are they getting used?
They're pretty much like, I think it's just like a lot of layers of fuzz, and like they kind of all add up to create this like loud, bitey distortion.
Got it.
So yeah, a lot of times he'll kick like most of these on for like a like really bitey sound.
Okay.
Yeah. Then he's got the white pedal. Sounds like the fuzz off like the Beatles' White Album.
Okay. And that's from the can't remember Jex Telez?
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember either. But yeah, so that's kind of the fuzz. He also has the tone job, which he kind of uses as an EQ.
Okay.
Yeah, and then got some delays. Got this thing.
Oh yeah, it's a lo-fi delay, which is kind of goes into their sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the kilobyte.
And then this thing, which he uses kind of like he says like for like ad libs essentially, but it's like what we call like the laser beam kind of sound, where he'll like he'll like step on that and play like kind of like a high situation, and it'll like ring throughout like a space, which is really fun.
And that I can't see because it's taped up, but it's probably a DD5 or DD6 or something.
I think so. Yeah. I actually
okay.
just put tape over it today. Hilariously, and
Fresh.
should know that. Yeah.
And then phase 100. Max.
Yeah, this thing's awesome. Yeah, both all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, some awesome sounds out of that. And then he runs out of this ABY. So he has a clean channel and a dirty channel going into that rack. That both just run simultaneously on top of each other. And
the reverb.
Yeah, I got the MXR reverbs. These things are awesome.
Oh yeah, double reverbs.
Yeah, I got one for the electric dirty and then one for the acoustic channel as well.
Oh, okay.
This is just like a little acoustic section. But yeah, love those. Keeps them pretty blended between like plate and spring. Yeah, those are great as well.
And then the last kind of thing that, besides the tuners here and the noise suppressor, is the dynamic wall. How's that getting used in the set?
Yeah, occasionally, not a lot.
So it's not, maybe doesn't have like a target point, it's just kind of whenever he's feeling it?
Yeah,
okay.
Indeed. Yeah, man.
And is the NS2 something you feel like you need to have, or is it more just like, just in case?
There's not a ton of like buzz coming out of this rig, honestly.
Okay.
I think it just eats all existing, which isn't that much. So it's like, it's probably just for like safety, but it goes for sure.
Well, Mason, I really appreciate you talking us through the rig. We're going to go check out Bassland.
Yeah, awesome, dude.
Appreciate it,
Great
man.
to meet you, yeah.
Yeah, same. Last but not least, we're joined by Bailey the Tech, who've been spoken about twice now, both on Nick's part and Brad's part. So welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Tell me about the basses here.
Yeah, I was just explaining the bass is actually simplified in the last, recent, and now it's just he's mainly playing this Fender Jaguar bass. We're running 2 cabinets, 1 Fender Super Bassman head through both cabs, and then a tuner. On the board, he has a boost pedal, but that's only, this thing is insanely hot. I mean, like you guys heard it, it's a tower of bass, and it's a lot louder than the Mustangs that he plays. So we have a Fender boost on the pedal board. To kind of boost these up to this volume. These are just kind of like Mexican Fender Mustang basses, and then this is like an American Jag, so this is like the nice. And he's also playing like full round wound strings on this, and then he's
so
playing
no flats.
Flats on everything else.
So
flats on all the Mustangs, which again is why we have to boost it up a little bit.
Because it's got that dead sound.
But he's been, honestly, the last show we did and all the rehearsals, he's been playing this and not even touching the Mustangs.
Really?
Yeah, which is like weird because he's been a Mustang guy from the get-go, the short scale. He's, and now he's really loving this. And like I said, he's running the 2 cabs. We got side fills, he's got wedges, and he's got in-ears. So it's just like, well, I mean, it's crazy. It's just all the bass you could ever want. You know?
What was, do you know, was this thinking about kind of downsizing and just simplifying things? Was there a conversation that was had, or what?
No, I think it was more just like, he realized, like, I think there was a lot, and I've just started working for these guys, so I'm kind of new. And with the past, I think there was so much going on that there was just running into issues, as you do when you've got an overly complicated rig.
Absolutely.
So I think it was more of a, hey, dude, I'm tired of stuff happening and it being out of my control during a set. I'm tired of my techs having to run around, and how can we make that not a problem? And it was basically just like, cool, let's just dumb it down. Let's make it as simple as possible. 1 head, 2 cabs, a tuning pedal, and your ability.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah, totally. And now, like I said, it's been so great. These rehearsals were about to kick off the big run, and everything has sounded awesome. And it's just, I mean, it's so loud. It's like a punch.
Yeah, it's a thunder.
And you can't miss it. It's like anyone in the shows is going to hear it and feel it, and that's the big thing. Is he's a feel bass player. He wants to feel it, and so that's why we have the whole we have him in this little corner of bass, and it's just it's, as you can tell too, the only one on stage that has actual cabinets. Well, besides Nick. And it's just like
It's funny with the whole setup here between 3 guys is that there's so many different philosophies, but all adding to one unison sound.
Exactly.
You got the DIs, you got Nick with the kind of the setup with the combos and tons of pedals. And just bass
and
here.
And simple bass. And it's it sounds awesome, man. It's killer. It's a killer show. Hopefully, people can come and see it on this run.
I bet people are gonna have a great time.
It's and as a gear nerd, as we all are, it's a bunch of rad gear. And it's all, like you said, it's all done differently, between simple bass to crazy guitar world to like more pro audio guitar world. And then, it's super cool. It's a great band to work for.
And then just real quickly, I know you mentioned you got the steel string, and then you also got the flats.
Wounds,
What are you brands?
Labella.
Okay.
So he's actually endorsed by Labella. So Fender and Labella are his like things.
Okay.
They're one of those weird string, it's like they're talked about, but only in small circles, you know, and
if you know, kind of know.
Yeah, if you know, and it was kind of one of those things where before this band, was kind of had heard of them, never really done it, and then now being with them and being with communication with Labella, and it's just like, wow, these are kill. They make these, their regular strings and their flat wounds they're called I'm actually going to get the name wrong, so I'm not even going to try, but they're killer. They're killer strings, a killer company.
Do you know what gauges off the top of your head?
I don't. They're right there. We'll get them. But they're just, they're standard bass strings. Like he's not using anything heavy or low gauge. It's probably just the standard
4 set.
Yeah, I think it's 105 to, what is it?
45 or 40?
Something like that. Nothing crazy. That's, like I said, it's a very simple but powerful bass rig.
And between the two setups, the 2 basses, and the 2 different sets of strings, I see some picks behind us. Does he always pick, or is it kind of dependent?
It's back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends. Song to song.
Dependent.
Yeah. Some songs he's really getting, you know, those
Chugging.
Mustang songs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, you know, maybe something like Come a Little Closer, you know, that has that really kind of popular bass, you know, that's kind of driving the whole song. He's picking, but then a lot of other stuff, yeah, he's
Kinda
going
mellow,
fingers,
chill.
yeah, back and forth between the two.
Well,
yeah, he's a very versed bass player, you know, all the way around. So.
Well, killer, man. This has been a fun rundown, and so cool to see all this gear get used in different applications. But
absolutely.
Appreciate your time, Bailey.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Guys, stay safe out there and keep rocking.
The reason we only stock D'Addario strings is because D'Addario strings are perfect.
When people come in here, they think that we get them for free or something like that, but we don't. We have no other reason except for dependability and tone.